It was a cold and rainy evening in London. The streets glistened with reflections of city lights. Most people hurried home, umbrellas in hand, avoiding the chill that came with the wind. But for Michael Turner, a 42-year-old taxi driver, the night had just begun. Michael had been driving for more than 15 years. He knew every shortcut, every quiet street, every place where people disappeared into the fog. Part 1, The Last Passenger. Around 11:45 p.m., Michael was ready to finish his shift. He was tired. His last cup of coffee had gone cold hours ago. Then the meter beeped, a new call. Dispatcher, on radio, taxi 14, pickup request on Holloway Road. Passenger heading to Highgate Cemetery. Michael sighed. Cemetery. At midnight. Perfect. But he accepted. A fare was a fare. When he arrived, the street was almost empty, except for a woman standing under a flickering streetlight. She wore a long dark coat, and her face was hidden beneath a black hat. She stepped closer as Michael lowered the window. Michael, good evening. Need a ride? Woman, softly, yes, to Highgate Cemetery. Her voice was calm, too calm. She opened the back door and got in. Michael started the engine. The woman looked out the window the whole time, not saying a word. After a minute, Michael tried to start a conversation. He didn't like the silence. Michael, late night visit, huh? Not many people go to the cemetery at this hour. Woman, it's an anniversary, she said quietly. Someone I loved. Her tone ended the conversation. Michael didn't ask more. Part 2, The Cemetery. The ride took about 10 minutes. The rain had stopped, but the fog had thickened. When they reached the gates of Highgate Cemetery, Michael stopped the car. Michael, here we are. That'll be £12, please. The woman reached into her purse and handed him a £20 note. Woman, keep the change. Then she opened the door, stepped out, and walked slowly toward the old iron gates. Michael watched her disappear into the mist. A shiver ran down his spine. He waited a moment, then shrugged and drove off. That was the last time anyone saw Michael Turner. Part 3, The Next Morning. The next morning, a street cleaner found Michael's taxi abandoned near the same cemetery. The driver's door was open. The headlights were still on. But Michael was gone. The engine was running. His wallet and phone were still inside. The only strange thing was the back seat. It was wet, as if someone had spilled water, or maybe rain, but there hadn't been any rain since midnight. Detective Laura Grant was called to the scene. She was experienced, calm, and logical, not one for ghost stories. Officer Miller, looks like he just walked off. Detective Grant, taxi drivers don't walk off in the middle of a shift and leave the keys in the ignition. Check CCTV. They did. The nearest traffic camera showed Michael's taxi passing at 11:57 p.m., heading toward the cemetery. But it never showed him leaving. The taxi seemed to vanish from the cameras after that. Part 4, The Investigation. Detective Grant visited Michael's family. His wife, Clara, was heartbroken. Clara, he called me just before midnight. He said he was taking one last passenger. He joked that she was from the other side, because she wanted to go to the cemetery. Detective Grant, did he sound worried? Clara, no, just tired. He promised he'd be home by 12:30. Grant checked Michael's phone records. The last signal came from near the cemetery at 12:02 a.m. Then nothing. No movement. No calls. No messages. The only clue was a small black glove found in the back seat. A woman's glove. Expensive leather. But there were no fingerprints. Part 5. The Witness. 2 days later, a young man came forward. His name was Eddie, and he worked at a 24-hour cafe near the cemetery. Eddie, I saw that taxi, yeah. Parked by the gate around midnight. The engine was on. Then, the lights flickered and... He hesitated. Grant, and what? Eddie, well, it's gonna sound crazy, but... I saw a woman standing by the gate. She was waving at the car. Then the taxi lights went out. When they came back on, the car was empty. Grant didn't believe in ghosts, but the story unsettled her. Grant, you didn't see the driver leave? Eddie, no. I looked away for a second, and he was gone. Part 6. The Old Record. Detective Grant kept digging. Something about the woman's destination, Highgate Cemetery, bothered her. She searched the local archives. And there she found something strange. 10 years earlier, October 14, 2015, a woman named Evelyn Hart had died in a car accident near Holloway Road. She was 29. The report said she had been on her way to visit her fiancé's grave at Highgate Cemetery. Her photo matched the witness's description exactly: dark coat, black hat. Grant's hands trembled slightly as she read. Evelyn Hart. Dead for 10 years. But the date of Michael's disappearance. October 14th. The same date. Part 7. The Return. A week later, something even stranger happened. At 3:17 in the morning, a passing police patrol reported a taxi, Michael's taxi, parked again by the cemetery gate. Same spot. Same license plate. Officers approached carefully. Inside, they found the meter running, and a man sitting in the driver's seat. It was Michael Turner. He was alive, but pale, shaking, and freezing cold. When they took him to the hospital, he kept repeating the same words. She wanted to go home. She wanted to go home. Detective Grant visited him the next day. Grant, Michael, do you remember what happened? He nodded slowly, his voice weak. Michael, I dropped her off. She walked to the gate. I looked down to check the meter, and when I looked up, she was right outside my window again. Grant, outside your window. Michael, she said. You have to take me home. I told her I already did. Then, she smiled. And everything went dark. Grant, and then? Michael stared into space. When I woke up, it was morning. But it felt like only a few minutes had passed. Grant asked where he'd been all week. He shook his head. I don't know. I was driving, and then I wasn't. Part 8. The Final Clue. Grant returned to the cemetery one last time. The gate creaked in the wind. She noticed something she hadn't before, a small gravestone near the entrance. It read, Evelyn Hart, 1986 to 2015. Forever waiting. On the stone lay a fresh black glove, the twin of the one found in Michael's taxi. Grant felt a chill crawl up her spine. She didn't touch it. Part 9, Epilogue. Michael never drove a taxi again. He said he couldn't, not after that night. Sometimes, when people asked what happened, he'd just say, "Some passengers don't belong to this world." And every year, on October 14th, a taxi is seen idling near Highgate Cemetery. Lights on, engine running, driver nowhere to be found. The police no longer investigate. They say it's just a story. A ghost story. Thank you for listening to The Disappearing Taxi. If you enjoyed this mystery story, please like, share, and subscribe for more Learn English Through Stories. See you in the next tale.